So we are here up in my sewing room today, and what I thought I would do is show you how I have been sorting my fabric stash. Now, those of you who've been watching my channel a while will know that I have a lot of fabric, and I certainly do seem to have a bit of an addiction. And yes, I like all the pretty things, and yeah, it seems to have got a little bit out of control. So what I've been doing over the weekend is working my way through my entire stash, and that has been no mean feat. And what I originally did was, I have been watching some of those videos, you know, the KonMari method. A lot of vloggers have been applying that to their fabric stashes and deciding which fabrics bring them joy and which fabrics don't, so that they can look at destashing. Now, I had a think about that yesterday, but if I'm perfectly honest, I found the whole process completely overwhelming, and none of my fabrics were bringing me joy. In fact, if I'd have applied the KonMari method, I would have probably got rid of absolutely everything, because I was just in that frame of mind, and I found the whole process really stressful, really time consuming, and yeah, so that just does not work for me whatsoever. So I don't know what anybody else thinks about that, but yeah, none of it was bringing me joy at all. Anyway, moving swiftly on, what I have done, I'm going to show you a little bit of what I've done in a minute, but I've got, you can just see it in the corner here, I've got one of those IKEA Kallax units, and it is a 12 hold unit, and I have managed to fit the majority of my fabrics in that, or on the top. What I've tried to do is section them off into cotton lawns, cottons, viscoses, georgette chiffons, twills, denims, linens, that kind of thing, so that I know what's what. How it was previously was, it was 2 fabrics deep, and that was difficult because it meant that when I had some inspiration about a particular fabric and pattern that I wanted to use, I had no idea where that fabric was, because everything was just mixed up. So it's been very, very long-winded and yeah, very time consuming, but I'm quite pleased with how it's coming along. It's certainly by no means finished, and I've still got some work to do, but it's feeling a lot better, and my room's a bit more tidy. This isn't the biggest room at all, it's the 3rd bedroom in our house, and it is the smallest room. As you can see, we've got a bed at the back there, and that's where my daughter stays when she comes home to stay. So excuse me. So yeah, let me first show you what I've done so far. Right, so if we start with the top left hand corner, what I have done is I have put all my cotton lawns into this cube here, and yeah, I'm going to show you how I've folded these shortly so that you can see how they fit. I mean, obviously they are curled up a little bit, but they fit much better. I've done them quite flat, so I've been able to fit loads in there, and they are now only 1 fabric deep, which means that I can easily see what I've got and locate the fabric that I need. Now, it is obviously filled up to the rafters up there, but I'm really pleased with how that has come together. Moving along over here, I have tried to put the dressmaking cotton, so these are the heavier weights rather than just the straight lawns, which are obviously there. These are the heavier weight cottons, and I've put those in here. Now, there are a couple of lighter weight ones at the top. That's a cotton lawn there, that's a Lady McElroy one, and these 2 here, that's a Lisa Comfort one at the top, but at least that way the rest of my dressmaking cottons are all in there. Moving along over here, I have the linens and linen viscoses, mostly. Now, I've tried to keep all the plain colours at the bottom so I know what linens I have in my stash, and then I've got the printed linens and linen viscoses as I go further up here. That is a double gauze, it's an Atelier brunette one, but I had nowhere else to put it, so that's just sitting in there for now. Moving across on here, I have, the majority of these are the heavier weight cotton satines, apart from that one. but the rest of these are, there's a couple of plain cottons there which I just use for linings or toiles, but the rest of this are the cotton sateen. So yeah, that's what's in that one. Moving across to this one, in here this row is mostly about drapey fabrics. So in here I have all my viscoses, and also along in here as well there's also a couple of sort of crepes as well in here as well, and that one is a heavier georgette, but the rest of it is all viscose fabrics. So these are all in one place now, which makes it easier for me to choose what I need. Moving along here, I've got more lighter weight fabrics. So these are things like, there's some chiffons, some georgettes in here, a couple of silky types, but they are all now neatly stashed in there. In this cube here, I have things like, these are mostly plain fabrics, but these are all tencels, coupros and crepes. So I've tried to keep all the plains together so that I know exactly what I've got and where they all are. Moving along to this space here, again I've got more drapey fabrics in here. There's a couple of laces as well, some crepes and some more satiny type fabrics at the bottom, but that's more or less the remainder of all my drapey fabrics. That one we're going to come to in a little while. This one here, at the bottom here I have double gauzes and yeah, mainly double gauzes at the bottom, but I've also got the remainder of some of my drapey fabrics in here as well. I might just actually move one of those out and put the Atelier Brunette one that's up there down there so that it's nice and yeah, everything is where it should be. Over here we have denims at the bottom and twills. So these are all my heavier weight fabrics for jeans making. There's a couple of canvases in there as well. I've got my chambrays in there. And then finally on the bottom row, this one is still got to be done. They're mostly jerseys and scubas in there, or some of them. This one I have already done, but you can tell I was losing the will to live when I did that one yesterday evening. And it's got some jersey fabrics in there again. But I'd just had enough by that point. This cube here has a couple of coating fabrics and bouclés at the bottom, and then I've just stacked a few of my remaining fabrics on top. There's a couple of jerseys there, a couple of more silky types as well. And then finally that one over there again has heavier twills, and it's also got my corduroys in there as well. And some velvet and special fabrics, those kinds of sparkly things that we sometimes like, which will probably be in use later on in the year. So moving to the top of the Calyx unit, there is the top there, and up above here are all my jersey fabrics. Well, not all, but as many as I can fit up here, and this goes right up to the ceiling. The ceiling is just at the top there. Now I have gone through all of those, and they are all now neatly stacked up there. I've done that side as well. There's a few stacked in front because I just can't fit any more up there. That side is all my plains, or as much as possible, but that hasn't really been tackled yet, and I still need to work my way through that particular pile there. I do also have in this cupboard up here, if you've not seen it before, there are a load of fabrics up there as well. What I've tended to have is at this side here is all my coating fabrics, and at that side is some more jerseys, lots of plain ponties at the bottom, but that needs a proper good sort out as well. So yes, that is more or less my entire fabric stash, all apart from the fabrics that I have taken out of the stash that I no longer want. And I put out a little bit of a call on Instagram yesterday saying that I was thinking about doing a destash on there, because there's a lot of fabric that I have accumulated over the last few years that, you know, when you start out sewing, that you buy fabrics, you get attracted to particular sort of novelty prints, and you don't really know much about fabric, and you buy things and think, oh, I'm not sure how I'll use that or whether I'll use it, and they end up languishing in your stash for a while. And I wouldn't say that I've been brutal. I certainly haven't been brutal with the amount of fabric that I still have, but I have gone through things with, you know, a little bit of thought, thinking, am I ever going to use this, and can somebody else get some use out of this particular fabric? So I wanted to just show you, I've actually got about 3 bin liners full of fabric that I know that I will never use, and I am going to look at destashing those on Instagram, so watch out for that if you are in the UK. I'm really sorry, it is probably going to be UK only, mainly because the postage costs will just be so expensive to send abroad. But I thought I would just show you a few fabrics that I am destashing, just to talk you through why I've chosen them, why I'm not going to use them. So the first one is this one here. So this is a canvas fabric that I bought from Fabricland in the UK probably about 5 years ago now, and the reason I bought this was because I'd not long been sewing, and I'd just watched the second series of the Great British Sewing Bee, which was the thing that really got me into sewing. And one of the contestants on there one evening had this fabulous blouse on that she'd made out of some fabric that had teapots all over it. So I was sourcing teapot fabric at the time. I didn't know much about fabrics at the time, and I found this on Fabricland and it had teapots on it, so I thought I'll buy it and make myself a blouse out of it. Now this, as you can see, is quite a heavyweight canvas, and there's no way you could make a blouse out of this. When it came, it's also, the print's quite big as well, and when it came I liked it, but I thought, oh, I can't really make a blouse out of that, it's too thick, and it'll probably be okay to make, you know, a bag or something. And it's sat in my stash ever since, and realistically, yes, you could make a bag out of this, but I would not use a bag made out of this unless it was maybe like a tote bag for shopping, but then it's going to be too thick to carry in my other bag, and so it's just not going to get used. So that's one of the fabrics that I'm going to destash, and you know, there's nothing wrong with it, there's no stains on it, it's been pre-washed and ironed and just been sat unloved in my stash for a number of years. So that's why I've chosen that one. The next one is a scuba fabric, and I bought a butterick pattern a number of years ago. I'll put a picture of it up here, and it's still in my stash and I've never actually made it up as yet. And I bought this fabric. Now originally I said it was a scuba fabric, but I'm not sure actually. I'm not sure whether it is or not. It's quite, it looks see-through, but it's not really, it's just because of the light shining behind me. But it's quite a pretty, it's got a vintagey sort of feel to it, but I just don't like the fabric. I don't like the polyesteriness of it, and it's got some stretch that way, but none in the length, but it has in the width. It's fairly pretty, but I'm just not going to use it. I've had this in my stash. If I just bring it in, you can see it's got a bit of a weave to it. But it does feel smooth on the top. The weave is more under the other side, if you can see that. I'm never going to use this. I'm never going to make that pattern. I'm just not, as much as I think I probably will. But I bought this to make that, and yeah, it's just not going to happen. So that's why that one is going to be destashed. The next one is a cotton jersey, and I got this from a seller from eBay, and when I bought it I really liked the design on it, the print. So this is it here. Obviously it's got loads of stretch in it both ways, and you know, it's quite a pretty design. Again, if I bring that in close so you can see. But I've got loads and loads and loads of jerseys in my stash, and out of all of them, I thought, you know what, this has been in my stash for a number of years as well, and I'm never going to use it. I think there is a good 2 meters here. As I say, it's pretty, nothing wrong with it. This is a nice feel to it. It's quite a lightweight cotton jersey, so you know, I'm just not going to use it. So that's why that one is going to be destashed. The next one that I have chosen is this one here. Now, everybody goes mad for spots, and you know, there's nothing wrong with this particular fabric when it comes to design. This is a white background with small black spots on it. It's a jersey fabric again, stretch both ways. But the reason I don't like this is I think this is what they call an ITY, which is an interlock twist yarn fabric. It's really slinky, it's really drapey, it's really polyestery, and I don't like ITY fabrics. I just think you have to be super skinny to be able to get away with them, because they show up every lump and bump on you. I mean, I suppose you could make something drapey out of this, but again, it's really polyestery, and I've got a bit of a thing. Mostly with jerseys, I like to wear natural fabrics with jersey. So I like your cottons and your viscoses. I don't like the polyester jerseys at all. Yeah, so I'm not going to use this. As much as I don't mind polka dots, that, you know, polka dots are fine. It's the fabric choice again, and I think that comes back to my inexperience a few years ago with buying fabrics and not understanding what fabrics are what and how they're going to feel and what you can use them for. And all I got attracted to with this was, oh, it's polka dots, and everybody was going mad for polka dots at the time. And I bought this thinking I would, you know, make something out of it, and I haven't. I've had other polka dot fabrics in my stash since that have been nicer fabrics. So again, that is going to be destashed. And then finally, one other option that I have decided I'm getting rid of is this one here. And I actually only bought this last year. This was described as a knitted fabric with sparkle in it. So in a sort of nudie colour, fleshy colour. If I can bring that in and show you. It's got like this zigzag design, which is all sparkly. I don't know if you can see the sparkle in that very well. I've got 3 meters of this. It was really cheap, but this is one of those, again, I thought it was a nice knitted fabric, and it's not. It's like it's just a horrible, in my opinion, a horrible polyestery knitted lurexy fabric. You can tell by my expression on my face that I just don't like this at all. And I think my original thoughts was I could make like a cardigan out of it, a long line cardigan, but I would never wear it. I just know that I would not wear anything made up out of this fabric. That's the rear side of it. I don't know if you can see that very well if I just hold it against me. But it's just not nice at all. It's really polyestery. So yeah, there's 3 meters of that as well. I'm not really keen on the colour as well. I thought it was more of a blush pink online, but it's very, I just think it's not really my colour, is it? It's going to wash me out. So yeah, I'm going to get rid of that. So there's a few examples of the kinds of things that, how I sort of made my decisions about what I was going to destash and what I was going to keep. And yeah, there's 3 bin bags full of fabrics at the minute that I am going to destash. So yeah, check out my Instagram account and keep your eyes peeled for that. It's probably going to be a couple of weeks because I need to catalogue everything, because they're all different lengths. Mostly I would say 2 to 3 meter lengths. There are a few that I have already cut out, the things that I've already used and the sort of remnants, but the majority of the fabrics that I am destashing are fabrics that have never been used. So yeah, watch out for that. What I thought I would finally do is just show you how I have folded my fabrics to get them to fit inside these cubes in my Calyx unit. Right then, so I've just moved you around slightly so that you can see. So the one that I'm going to show you first is this one. So this is a scuba is it a scuba? I think it's a scuba. Or a waffle jersey. I got this from Satisfaction last year. I think Shiona made a sew over it heather dress out of this. I'm not sure if it was this colourway or a different colourway, but really like this actually. It's nice. But yeah, I haven't made it up yet. So I've got a couple of meters of this, and what I've done to fold these to fit them into this unit is I open out the fabric so that the selvage is sort of vertical, and then to start with I just fold it in half that way, and then I fold it in half again, and then so that it's now that wide, because that seems to be quite a decent, if I can just, I don't know if you're going to see that very well, but it sort of fits quite well just going into there. And then I just fold it over and then fold it over again, so it's now that sort of length, and then it tends to fit in quite well. So the next one I've got is this one here. So again, this is a scuba fabric that I've had in my stash for quite a while. I haven't shown you what I'm wearing today actually. Just pull my shorts down. I've just got a Ogden cami on, and these are the Grain Line shorts from Grain Line, the maritime shorts, that's what they're called, which I just made out of some cotton that I had left in my stash last year. It's got pockets on the back and pockets in the front, and it's got like a fly front with, I've just got a little wooden button on there. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, they're nice and cool. So yeah, so this one is a mustard one with a navy floral print on that I've had in my stash for a while. I got this from the textile centre, and again, just to show you, all I do is fold them in half first, like so, and then half again, like so, and then fold it that way and that way, so it's that sort of length, and then yeah, you can see how they're fitting in. So at least that way, it means that because they're quite thin, you can still see what you've got, but you know, it will hold, each cube will hold a lot more fabric. So I think the beauty of folding them this way as well, one of the reasons why I've done it, is because when you take your fabrics out and you want to actually, you know, place your patterns on and cut them out, I think that it's always easier to have them so that they're actually ready to lay out. Does that make sense? So you always have, obviously, you fold on one edge, and at least if they're folded this way, rather than, you know, folding them in sort of, so if I folded it like this and then like that and then like that and then like that and then like that, yeah, it's nice in a nice small package, but I'm not going to fit as many in there as I do the other way. And it means when I take the fabric out so that I want to actually use it to cut a pattern out, I've then got to unfold it all, there'll be loads more creases in it, and then look at folding it in half the right way and getting all the creases out, etc, etc. So at least this way, I think anyway, it means that I am already halfway there to actually being able to use it easily as soon as I take it out of my stash. Does that make sense? So that's it really. I'm going to now work my way through the remainder of the few fabrics that I've got to put in this cube, and yeah, I'm quite pleased with how it's gone. It's certainly been a mammoth task, if I'm honest. As I mentioned, I've still got a few fabrics up there that I need to sort out and work my way through. But otherwise, I'm pleased with how this is looking. Yeah, I've still got loads of fabrics, but at least I've managed to sort out what I'm going to destash. And yeah, it means that I now know exactly where everything is. Everything is in some kind of order, so it's a little bit easy for me to navigate and manage. So anyway, I hope you found that useful. I hope you have enjoyed having a little bit of a look at my stash. And yeah, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all really soon. Bye.